The principal's voice boomed like thunder over the school auditorium's crackling speakers, freezing Ryan mid-step on stage. This boy, Ryan Ellis, is a disgrace to our community, parading his perversion on school grounds like it's some kind of badge of honor. The crowd's gasp rippled through the live TV cameras, but it was the principal's sneer, twisted and venomous, that sliced deepest, broadcasting Ryan's shame to every living room in America. In that split second, as the lights blinded him and the world tilted, Ryan tasted blood, his own, from biting his lip too hard, and wondered if this was how Judas felt, or if betrayal ever came with applause. Ryan's sneakers squeaked against the polished auditorium floor, the echo swallowed by the hush that followed Principal Harlan Graves' words. The air hung thick with the scent of cheap coffee from the news crew and the faint, metallic tang of stage lights overheating. Ryan stood there, 17 years old and suddenly ancient, his heart hammering like a trapped bird against his ribs. The teleprompter blinked mockingly in the corner, scripted for a wholesome back-to-school pep rally. Not this ambush. Cameras from Channel 7 News, live, unfiltered, zoomed in on his face, capturing every flicker of shock, every involuntary twitch of his mouth as he fought the urge to bolt. Harlan Graves, a man built like a retired linebacker gone to seed, loomed behind the podium, his tie askew, face flushed redder than the school colors. He'd always been the town's moral compass, or so the church bulletins claimed, father of three, deacon on Sundays, the guy who quoted Reagan at every town hall. But now, his eyes gleamed with something feral, a righteousness twisted into a weapon. "We won't tolerate this filth in our halls," he continued, voice dropping to a gravelly timbre that the mic amplified into a sermon. God-fearing families send their kids here to learn values, not to be corrupted by boys like him. He jabbed a meaty finger at Ryan, who felt it like a physical shove. The audience, parents in khakis and polos, students shifting uncomfortably in their seats, erupted into a murmur. Some nodded solemnly, crosses glinting on their necks, others whispered furiously, phones already lighting up with texts. Ryan's best friend, Mia, was out there somewhere in the bleachers, her dark curls a beacon he'd clung to since freshman orientation. She'd begged him to come out quietly, just to her and the GSA club. But Ryan had dreamed bigger. Last week, he'd kissed his boyfriend, Theo, in the parking lot after practice, nothing more than a quick press of lips under the sodium glow of street lamps, and someone had snapped a photo. Anonymous tip to the principal's office. And now this. Ryan's throat burned, words clawing their way up like barbed wire. "Sir," he managed, voice cracking just enough to betray him on national feed. "That's not, I didn't," but Graves cut him off with a laugh, short and barking, like he'd rehearsed it in the mirror. "Boy, you think this is a game? Parading around with that unnatural nonsense? We've got standards here in Willow Creek." The principal's gaze swept the room, landing on the cameras with calculated drama. "And America needs to see what happens when we stand up to the agenda pushing this on our youth." The feed cut to commercial before Ryan could respond, but not before the damage sank in. He stumbled off stage, legs no, the curtain swishing shut like a guillotine. Backstage, in the dim glow of exit signs, he slumped against a prop table stacked with forgotten pep rally banners. His phone buzzed wildly in his pocket, texts from unknown numbers. Mia's frantic, "W Ryan, call me," and one from Theo, "I'm so sorry." I didn't know. Didn't know what? That the photo was his? That he'd leaked it to Graves for some twisted shot at redemption? Ryan's chest heaved, hot tears spilling over despite his clenched jaw. Willow Creek High wasn't just a school, it was the heartbeat of this Rust Belt town in upstate New York, where factories had shuttered decades ago and folks clung to football Fridays and Sunday potlucks like lifelines. Coming out here felt like declaring war on gravity, uphill, exhausting, with everyone waiting for you to slip. Ryan had planned it all, the quiet announcement at the next GSA meeting, then maybe a pride pin on his backpack. But Theo had been his anchor. Lanky Theo with the surfer hair and easy grin, who'd whispered, "I love you," during their first fumbling night in the back of his mom's old Subaru. They'd met at summer camp 2 years back, bonding over shared playlists of The National and Stolen Glances across the fire pit. Theo was out too, but from a progressive family in the next town over, posters of Obama on the walls, rainbows in the garden. Or so Ryan thought. He wiped his face with the sleeve of his hoodie, the fabric rough against his skin, and pushed through the backstage door into the emptying hallway. Lockers slammed like judgments, whispers trailing him like smoke. Faggot. The words slithered from a cluster of jocks by the water fountain, low but deliberate. Ryan kept walking, head high, the way his therapist had drilled into him during those Zoom sessions his dad paid for but never acknowledged. "Own your truth, kiddo," she'd say, her voice warm through the pixels. But truth felt like a noose right now. By the time he reached the parking lot, the sun was dipping low, painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges. His beat-up Ford pickup, Dad's hand-me-down, engine coughing like an old smoker, sat under the oak tree that shaded half the lot. Ryan slid into the driver's seat, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the dashboard. The engine turned over on the third try, and he peeled out, gravel spitting under the tires. Home was 10 minutes away. A squat ranch house on Elm Street where the American flag hung limp on the porch and his mom baked apple pies for the neighbors, even the ones who just called her son a pervert on live TV. The radio crackled to life as he merged onto Route 17, some country station crooning about lost love and dusty roads. Ryan punched it off, the silence roaring louder. His phone lit up again, CNN alert, viral moment, high school principal calls out gay student live on air. Shares were skyrocketing. Hashtags like Willow Creek Shame and Stand with Ryan trending. Part of him wanted to hurl the phone out the window, watch it shatter on the median. The other part, the stubborn spark that had gotten him through Dad's disappointed silences and Mom's teary, "We love you anyway," whispered, "Fight." He pulled into the driveway just as the porch light flickered on, sensing him like a guilty conscience. Mom was at the door before he killed the engine, apron dusted with flour, eyes wide and red-rimmed. "Oh, honey," she breathed, pulling him into a hug that smelled of cinnamon and desperation. Dad hovered behind her, arms crossed over his flannel shirt, face a mask of stone. "We saw it," he grunted. "The whole damn town did." Ryan pulled back, searching their faces for the betrayal he feared most. And Mom's hand trembled on his arm. "We're proud of you for being brave." But Dad just nodded once, and turned back to the living room where the TV murmured updates. No embrace, no words of fire. Just the quiet fracture of a family holding its breath. That night, Ryan lay in his childhood bed, Posters of indie bands peeling at the edges. The glow-in-the-dark stars from age 10 still clinging to the ceiling. Sleep wouldn't come. Instead, memories flooded in, Theo's laugh echoing across Quarry Lake at camp. The way his fingers traced Ryan's spine under the tent flap. Promising forever in whispers. They'd talked marriage once. Half joking. Picturing a little cabin in the Adirondacks. Away from prying eyes. But forever tasted like ash. A knock at the window jolted him upright. Theo's face pressed against the glass. Pale and urgent. Hoodie zipped to his chin against the November chill. Ryan's heart lurched, anger. Longing. A toxic brew. He cracked the window. Cold air rushing in like judgment. What the hell? Theo, I had to see you. Theo's voice was raw. Eyes shadowed. It wasn't me. I swear. Someone stole my phone at practice yesterday. I think it was Jake, that asshole from the team. He hates us. Always has. Ryan wanted to believe him. Got how he did. But doubt coiled tight in his gut. Then why'd Graves have the photo ready? Like it was planned? Theo reached through. Fingers brushing Ryan's knuckles. Because he's a bigot. But listen, people are rallying. My dad's a lawyer, he's already calling the ACLU. This could end him. Ryan pulled his hand away. The touch burning. End him? What about me? The whole country's seen me broken on TV. His voice cracked. And he hated it. I trusted you. Theo's face crumpled. I love you. That hasn't changed. He leaned closer. Breath fogging the glass. Let me prove it. Meet me tomorrow. By the old mill? We can figure this out. Ryan hesitated. The pull of those green eyes a gravity he couldn't escape. Fine. But if you're lying. He trailed off. The threat empty even to his ears. As Theo vanished into the night, Ryan sank back. The stars above him mocking his naivety. Little did he know. The fall had only just begun, not his, but the man who'd lit the fuse. Dawn broke over Willow Creek like a reluctant confession. Gray light filtering through Ryan's curtains, turning his room into a watercolor of regrets. He hadn't slept more than an hour. Theo's plea echoing in his skull like a bad loop. By 7 a.m. His phone was a battlefield, 247 notifications. A mix of hate-spewing trolls, burn in hell, freak, and unlikely allies. You're brave. Kid, keep fighting from a drag queen in San Francisco with 50K followers. Mia had blown it up with voice memos. Her Brooklyn accent thick with fury. That principal's a dinosaur. We're protesting today. Get your ass down here. Ryan dragged himself to the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on his face. The boy staring back had shadows under his eyes like bruises, lips chapped from nervous chewing. He thought of the photo, the one that started it all, him and Theo silhouetted against the chain-link fence, lips locked in a moment of stolen joy. Innocent. But weaponized. School was a gauntlet. As he pulled into the lot, news vans flanked the entrance like vultures, reporters thrusting mics at bleary-eyed students. How do you feel about the principal's comments? One shouted at a girl in pigtails, who shrugged and hurried past. Ryan parked far back, hood up, weaving through the crowd like a ghost. Inside, the halls buzzed with electric tension, posters for the pep rally torn down, whispers turning to shouts in corners. Tissé kids clustered by his locker, Mia at the helm, her fist pumping like a rally cry. Ryan, we got you. Hashtag army activated. He managed a weak smile, the warmth of her solidarity a bomb. Mia had been his rock since day one, fierce, unapologetic, the kind of friend who once punched a bully for calling him it. Thanks, he murmured, hugging her tight. What's the plan? Walk out at lunch. Speeches. And we're live streaming to every network that matters. Her eyes sparkled with that revolutionary fire. Graves thinks he can bury you? We're digging his grave. But as the bell rang and Ryan slunk to homeroom, the cracks showed. Mr. His history teacher, a kindly widower with a penchant for Vietnam War analogies, avoided his gaze, mumbling about unfortunate timing. In the bathroom, graffiti bloomed fresh on the stalls. Ryan loves Dick, asked the principal. Laughter echoed from the urinals. And Ryan bolted, stomach churning. By third period, the whispers had evolved into stares, phones dinging with updates. CNN had looped the clip overnight, pundits dissecting it like a crime scene. A throwback to the culture wars, one silver-haired anchor opined. Or a cry for help in Red America? Ryan tuned it out, burying himself in calculus, pencil-scratching equations that blurred into nonsense. Lunch came like a storm front. The cafeteria thrummed with anticipation. Trays clattering as kids clustered in factions, the jocks at their corner table, evangelical youth group huddled in prayer, GSA rebels at the windows. Ryan sat with Mia, picking at mystery meat. When the chant started, shame on Graves. Love wins anyway. Chairs scraping as dozens stood, streaming toward the quad. Under a sky heavy with impending rain, the walkout unfolded. Mia handed Ryan a megaphone, her grin fierce. Your stage, superstar. He climbed the steps to the flagpole, heart pounding anew. Cameras from the news vans captured it all, his trembling hands, the way he swallowed before speaking. Yesterday, Principal Graves called me a disgrace. Said I was perversion incarnate, like loving who I love makes me less human. Pauses for breath, for the crowd's supportive whoops. But here's the thing, I'm not ashamed. I'm Ryan Ellis' son, brother, dreamer. And if that's a crime in Willow Creek, then maybe it's time we rewrite the rules. Cheers erupted, phones held high. But Ryan's eyes scanned for Theo. At the edge, hood up, nodding with quiet intensity. A spark of hope flickered, fragile as a match in wind. The protest peaked when Graves stormed out, megaphone in hand, face purpled with rage. This is insubordination, back inside. Or it's detention for all. His voice cracked on the last word, authority fraying at the edges. Mia stepped forward, undaunted. Free speech, Mr. Graves. Or did they skip that in principal school? The crowd laughed, a wave of defiance. But Ryan saw the fracture in Graves' eyes, something personal, wounded. Later, scrolling feeds in study hall, he pieced it together. Old articles buried in local archives, Graves' own brother, outed in the 90s, disowned and dead by 30 from AIDS complications. The man wasn't just hating, he was haunted. Afternoon blurred into detention threats and parent emails. But Ryan felt a shift, a quiet power uncoiling in his veins. After school, He texted Theo, no. 5 p.m. No bullshit. The old mill squatted by the creek like a forgotten relic. Rusted gears silent since the 80s. Weeds choking the wheel. Ryan arrived early, kicking stones into the murky water, the rush of it a soothing roar. Theo emerged from the tree-lean, hands shoved deep in pockets, expression a map of apologies. He started. First off, I miss you already. Ryan crossed his arms, barrier against the pull. Prove it wasn't you. Theo pulled out his phone, scrolling to a grainy security cam still from the locker room. Jake, broad-shouldered and smirking, rifling through unattended bags. Hacked it from the coach's email. Timestamp matches. He sent it to Graves with a note, clean up your school. Ryan studied it, the knot in his chest loosening a fraction. Why me? Why now? Theo stepped closer, the space between them humming. Because we're a threat. Two gay kids happy? That scares them shitless. His hand found Ryan's. Tentative. But I meant what I said. I love you. Through this mess. The kiss happened slow. Deliberate, Theo's lips cool from the wind. Tasting of mint and redemption. Ryan melted into it, hands fisting Theo's hoodie. The world narrowing to this, forgiveness. Fragile but real. They broke apart breathless. Foreheads touching. We're in this, Theo murmured. Together. But as they walked back, arms brushing, Ryan's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Ask your boyfriend about the rally tomorrow. He's got plans. Doubt slithered back, cold and insistent. That evening, curled on the couch with Mom, Ryan watched the news cycle churn. Clips of the walkout played, his speech sound-bitten into viral gold. Supporters flooded in, donations to the GSA, messages from queer kids across the heartland. You're my hero, one read. But Dad's silence loomed. His recliner empty, garage light on late into the night. Ryan found him there at midnight, tinkering with the truck's carburetor, grease-streaked hands steady. Dad. The pause. Wrench clinking. Saw you today. Spoke good. Ryan leaned against the workbench, tools glinting like accusations. You believe him? Graves. Dad wiped his brow, eyes distant. Believed worse in my day. Army didn't ask, just assumed. He set the wrench down, meeting Ryan's gaze for the first time. Don't you let him break you, son. You're tougher than that. It wasn't poetry, but it was absolution. Ryan hugged him quick. Quirt. The scent of oil and Old Spice a bridge across the chasm. As he headed to bed, hope flickered brighter. Tomorrow's rally, Mia's big push at the town square, could turn the tide. He didn't see the shadow in Theo's eyes, the secret gnawing at his resolve. Betrayal wasn't always a blade, sometimes it was a slow poison, seeping in when you least expected. The town square pulsed with Saturday morning energy, a far cry from the sleepy farmers' market it usually hosted. Banners fluttered from lampposts, Love is Love, Willow Creek stands with Ryan, and a makeshift stage loomed by the gazebo, speakers crackling with indie folk tunes. Ryan arrived with Mia, her arm looped through his, a human shield against the gawkers. News crews had tripled, satellite trucks idling like beasts, reporters pacing with earpieces. Hashtags trended nationwide, even Ellen had tweeted support. Her words a digital lifeline. "You ready?" Missed. Squeezing his elbow. Her eyeliner was sharp as her wit. A protest sign slung over her shoulder, "Graves' hate isn't great." Ryan nodded. Stomach a knot of nerves and nausea. Theo was meeting them there, promising to speak, his first public stand. Last night's kiss lingered like a promise. Sweet and tentative. But that anonymous text clawed at the edges. "Ask about the rally." Ryan had brushed it off as paranoia, but doubt was a persistent itch. The crowd swelled, hundreds now. A mosaic of rainbow flags and straight allies. Queer families from Syracuse driving 2 hours to wave signs. Chants rose, "No more shame." Ryan's name, the local pastor, gray-bearded and gentle, took the mic first, quoting Leviticus with a twist, "Love thy neighbor, doesn't come with asterisks." Applause thundered, and Ryan felt it in his bones. A vibration of belonging he'd chased since middle school whispers first branded him different. Theo arrived late, slipping through the throng with a sheepish grin, coffee cups in hand. "For the Warriors," he said, handing one to Ryan, steam curling like secrets. Up close, he looked wrecked, bags under his eyes, jaw unshaven. Rough night. Dad's on the warpath with lawyers. Ryan sipped a lot, foam bitter on his tongue. "You good?" Theo's hand brushed his waist, hidden by the crowd. "Better now," but his eyes darted, scanning faces like a fugitive. Mia nudged them on stage as her turn approached. Her speech a firecracker of stats and stories, queer suicide rates, conversion therapy bans. "We're not the problem," she roared. "Bigotry is." The square erupted, fist pumping, and Ryan swelled with pride. Her courage a mirror to his own buried fire. Then it was Theo's turn. He climbed the steps slow, mic in hand, the crowd hushing expectant. Ryan watched from the wings, heart in his throat. "Hey." "Willow Creek," Theo started, voice steady. "I'm Theo Harper. And I'm gay." Proudly. Ryan didn't choose the spotlight, it was shoved on him by a man who fears what he can't control. Nods rippled through the audience. Murmurs of agreement. Theo's gaze locked on Ryan's, soft and searing. "But love? That's the real power. Ryan taught me that, showed me it's okay to be scared and still fight." The words landed like grace. And Ryan's eyes stung. The anonymous text fading to static. Theo wrapped up with a call to action, petition Graves' removal, demand sensitivity training, and stepped down to cheers, pulling Ryan into a quick, fierce hug. "Told you," he whispered. Together. But the rally's peak cracked like thunder. As the final speaker, a trans activist from Albany, took the stage. A shout pierced the din, "Liar!" Heads whipped toward the edge, where Jake and a knot of jocks stood. Faces twisted. Jake held up his phone, screen glowing. "Harper's playing you all. Check the tape." Gasps spread like wildfire. Someone patched Jake's feed to the big screen, a blurry locker room video. Time-stamped yesterday. Theo. Cornered by Jake. Voice low, "Fine. You want dirt? I'll get you Ryan's coming out speech. Feed it to Graves anonymously. Just leave me out of it, tell the coach I'm straight. Get me off the hook." The square fell silent, then exploded. Phones whipped out, recording the betrayal in real time. Ryan's world tilted, Theo's arms still half around him. Now leaden. Wait, it's not, Theo stammered. Face ashen. Ryan wrenched free. The coffee cup tumbling, spilling dark across the grass. You sold me out. The words were ice, slicing through the chaos. Mia grabbed his arm, pulling him back as reporters surged, mics thrusting like spears. Theo lunged after, desperate. He threatened me, said he'd out me to my team, tank my scholarship. I panicked. I deleted it. I swear. But the damage bloomed viral. Clips splicing the rally with the confession. Headlines screaming, Willow Creek betrayal, boyfriend sells out gay activist for gridiron glory. Ryan fled to Mia's car, slamming the door as sobs racked him, the square's chants twisting into mockery in his ears. Home was sanctuary and prison. Mom enveloped him in the kitchen, chamomile tea steaming, while Dad paced, muttering about damn kids these days. But Ryan barely heard. He curled on his bed, phone silenced, replaying the video in his mind. Betrayal wasn't just the words, it was the fracture of trust. The way Theo's love had curdled into leverage. Hours blurred into dusk. Mia texting check-ins. Supporters pouring in despite the scandal. Betrayal doesn't define you, one read. Rise. By evening. Holding a six-pack. Face etched with uncharacteristic vulnerability. Talk to your mom. About me. He cracked a beer. Offering one, Ryan waved off. Back in. Fooled around. With a guy in my unit. Never told a soul. Buried it deep. His voice roughened. Seeing you fight? Makes me wish I'd had your guts. Ryan sat up. Stunned. Why now? 'Cause you're hurting. And I get it, fear's a bastard. But you're light. Son. Don't let shadows win. The admission hung. A bridge of shared secrets. And Ryan hugged him again. Longer this time. Tears soaking Dad's shirt. It didn't erase Theo, but it anchored him. Night fell with revelations of its own. Scrolling despite himself, Ryan stumbled on a leaked email chain, Graves to the school board. Dated weeks back, handle the gay problem quietly, or I'll go public. My brother's shame won't be repeated here. Attached, a photo of young Harlan. Arm around a spectral brother, both smiling before the rift. The principal's armor was cracking. His hate a mask for grief. Ryan's anger shifted, not gone, but layered with pity. He drafted a post. Fingers flying, betrayal hurts. But so does hiding. To everyone watching, be brave. Even when it breaks you. It posted at midnight. Likes flooding in. A quiet roar. Theo called at 2 a.m. Voicemail pleading, I fucked up. Come out to the mill. Please. Ryan deleted it. But dawn found him driving anyway. The road a ribbon of fog-shrouded resolve. Theo waited by the wheel. Silhouette broken. I resigned from the team. Told the coach everything. Lost the scholarship. But you're worth it. Ryan's heart twisted, love and loathing at war. You don't get to decide that. I know. Theo stepped closer. Rain starting to patter. But I choose you. If you'll have me. The kiss was storm-tossed. Desperate. Tasting of salt and second chances. Ryan pulled back. Conflicted. Not yet. Earn it. As he drove away, the radio hummed a Springsteen ballad, Born to Run. But maybe, just maybe, to stay. The nation watched. But Ryan's story was his own, unfolding in the quiet spaces between falls. Monday morning hit Willow Creek like a reckoning. The high school a pressure cooker of fallout. Protests had simmered overnight, queer activists blocking the board office, parents demanding Graves' resignation. Even the local diner refusing his coffee order with a pointed, "Not today." Harlan. Ryan walked the halls with head high, Mia at his flank. But the stares had softened, whispers now carried brave instead of barbs. His post had gone supernova. Shared by celebrities. Dissected on morning shows. "This kid's the future," a pundit declared on MSNBC. Resilient. Real. Theo kept his distance. A ghost in the periphery, locker glances. Cafeteria avoidance. Ryan felt a hollow in his chest. But forgiveness wasn't a light switch. It simmered, waiting for proof. The assembly was mandatory. Auditorium packed under fluorescent glare. Graves took the stage. Podium a fortress. But his hands trembled on the edges. No cameras this time, board's orders, but the weight of eyes was enough. Recent events, he began. Voice a gravel grind. Have highlighted divisions in our community. Pauses stretched. Sweat beading on his brow. My words were intemperate. Born of personal pain. Gasps rippled. Ryan sat front row. Pulse thundering. Graves' gaze found him. Not with venom. But something shattered. My brother. Elias. He was like you. Ryan. Loved fiercely. I pushed him away. Called it sin. He died alone. And that hole. It poisoned me. The confession landed raw. The room holding its breath. I shamed you to bury my own ghosts. That's on me. Effective immediately. I'm stepping down. The applause was polite. But Ryan stayed silent. A storm inside. Pity warred with justice. Graves' fall wasn't triumph. It was human. Frail. As the principal shuffled off. Shoulders bowed. Ryan slipped out. Needing air. Theo waited by the oak. Hands jammed in pockets. Saw it. Heavy. Ryan nodded. Leaning against the bark. Yeah. Turns out we're all just broken parts. Theo shifted. Eyes earnest. I get that now. The video? I turned myself into the board. Full story. Suspended 2 weeks. Community service with GLAD. He pulled a folded paper from his jacket, a scholarship form. Not football, but journalism. His secret passion. For writing our truth. If you'll help. Ryan took it. Fingers brushing Theo's. The touch electric. Why should I? Because I fell for you, hard. And falling means getting up. Fighting for it. Theo's voice cracked. Vulnerability bear. Teach me how. The dam broke then. Ryan pulling him close. The kiss deepening under the tree's canopy. Leaves rustling benediction. It wasn't perfect, scars lingered. Trust a work in progress, but it was theirs. Messy and true. Weeks blurred into healing. Graves retired quietly. Therapy his new companion. A letter arriving at Ryan's door. Forgive what you can. You freed us both. The school bloomed. Mia elected GSA president. Rainbow murals on lockers. Theo's articles in the paper chronicling queer voices. Ryan's family evolved too. Dad joined PFLAG meetings. Mom baked pride cookies for the bake sale. Graduation came under June skies. Caps tossed like confetti. Ryan stood on the field, diploma in hand. Theo beside him in cap and gown, fingers laced. The nation had watched the fall, graves. Tess. Ryan's own plummet into vulnerability, but now they witnessed the rise. Speeches droned, but Ryan's mind wandered to futures. NYU for him. Journalism for Theo. A shared apartment in Brooklyn. Nights tangled in sheets and dreams. As they drove off, windows down, Springsteen blasting, Thunder Road, on repeat, the wind whipped their hair, carrying away the last shadows. Ryan glanced at Theo, grin splitting wide. We made it. Theo squeezed his hand, eyes on the horizon. And we're just starting. In Willow Creek's rearview, shame was a faded scar. Love the road ahead, winding, but holy theirs. The nation might forget, but Ryan never would. From ashes, they'd built something unbreakable. A story not of falls, but flights.